unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. Let's talk about psyops. They're everywhere. This is what I'm told by the internet. Psyops. This is a psyop. That's a psyop. You're a psyop. I'm a psyop. Everybody's a psyop. Yeah, it's pretty out of control. I just blocked this guy who, another internet stranger, that apparently thinks this is a phenomenon that's crazy to me. You get these people that come into your DMs or whatever, and they send you links to tweets that you read 2 days ago. This is proof that XYZ or whatever. And anyway, about this guy, he's obsessed with Trump, that Trump is the Antichrist, that he's bringing everything down, and he's in cahoots with the Jews, and we're doomed because he's owned. Trump is owned by Israel. That's right. They wrote a check. They purchased him, took him to the cashier. They did that little scanner thing. Skip, 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 skip. Sale, self-checkout. Israel owns Trump. And he knows this. Boy, it's weird when, there's nobody more anti-Trump than people that were formerly for Trump, like the people that voted for him in 2016. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I voted for the libertarian guy, whoever that fucking guy was, and Gary something, retard. Let me tell you something. If you vote for the libertarians, you vote for a lot of retarded weirdos. And I've done that. But anyway, psyops. It's funny that it's just, what's mind-blowing is that any of us, including me, obviously, think we know things because we read them on the glowing screen. One of the funniest things in the world that I do, is when I screenshot a tweet and send it to somebody. Did you see this? Did you see this little block of text? Read it. Put it into your mind. Imagine what it means. Oh, I underlined part of it for you. The part of the information that's really important. It's a psyop. The whole thing's a psyop. This terrorist attack is a psyop. It's trying to drag us into war with Iran. Okay, probably. Whatever happened to the word propaganda, by the way? Why has propaganda been replaced with the word psyop? I mean, it doesn't sound as cool as propaganda. It's shorter, but psyop, doesn't have the ring to it. I prefer propaganda. And there's a lot of propaganda, but what's so funny is when people are reporting things like they know the truth. I know the truth about Donald Trump. I know the truth about Israel. I know the truth about Netanyahu. I do this myself, I know the truth about Osama bin Laden. I know the truth about this historical figure, Plato. I know the truth about, it's just like, you know nothing. You read something in a book or on a screen. You have no firsthand knowledge of it at all. But yet you seem to have developed this hardcore belief. It's true. I know the truth. Well, you do know some truth, but probably not about that. You know that chocolate is delicious. You know that your puppy is warm. You know that there's a roof over your head. but you don't know what Trump is thinking. You don't know what Biden is thinking. You know, you can speculate. You can, wish. You can imagine. You can speculate. Anyway, people don't like to, I'm not a believer. I've said this a lot of times. I'm a skeptic, whether I like it or not. It's not like I even have to train myself to be a skeptic. I just kind of am, no matter what, except for my real world stuff, things that I know firsthand, literally firsthand. I can touch it, I'm not iffy about that. But anything anything I read on the internet or see on a movie, I'm like, yeah, okay. That's interesting. But I'm not a believer. I sometimes am a hoper. I can hope. I can hope that things are going to be nice. I mean, my hope probably doesn't affect the outcome much, maybe a little bit, a little positive energy here and there, a little bit of optimism might nudge things in a positive direction, maybe, probably not much. But yeah, psyops. Everything's a psyop. And they're not wrong. Reading is a psyop. Media is a psyop. This right here, my recording that I'm making right now, is a psyop. It's certainly not a high five. There is no connecting of my hand in your hand. We are not, you and I are not slurping on the same piece of spaghetti and coming in for a kiss. We are not doing that. We are not holding hands on the beach, and caressing each other's goosebump arm as the breeze blows by. We're not doing that. I'm saying things that are in my brain through whatever magic that entails, however that happens, and I'm putting them into this little device that's recording them, and then you, at some later time, will hear a speaker vibrate, and it will emulate the words that I'm putting in right now, and they'll go into your ear ball, and you'll put it into your brain, and it will swim around in the little, whatever it is in your brain that makes you think and that holds information, the goo, the little intestine-looking thingies that is your brain. It's kind of fun that your lower intestines and your brain look the same. I think the creator might have been making a pretty good joke there. But yeah, it's a psyop. This is a psyop. You and I are engaged in a psyop. Every time we open our mouth and we try to communicate to somebody something that we have in our mind, it's a psychological operation. And I'm not so sure we understand our own motives in doing that, I suspect it's about love and loneliness and wanting to connect with people and to find meaning, But that's what it is. It's a psyop. I love you. It's a psyop. Do you really, though? Do you really love me? I can't prove it, Language is crazy. And it gets even crazier when it becomes disconnected from your physical presence, If you guys were, you 5 people that are listening, if you were right here in the room with me, everything would be different right now. It would be awkward, first of all, because I'm laying in bed. Probably shouldn't have told you that. Now things are really awkward, right? It's the middle of the night. So, but this media, this technology allows us to separate that so we can bypass that awkwardness, you know? So there's no accountability here, you know? And I don't think it's such a great idea. I know I keep saying this over and over again, but the fact that I'm not accountable to you makes the psyop even worse, you know? I was saying this to my friend Peter yesterday, you know? And in the last recording I made about influencing the influencers, you know, there's this whole thing is like, something tells me to just stay away from media completely. But yet I keep being drawn back to it because it's addictive, you know, because it's offering this synthesized version of socializing. It's porn, basically, you know. It feels like you're socializing, but you're not really socializing. You're talking into a little box, you know. And, you know, I wonder if saying good things into the box is even worse. Let's take, for example, let's say that I'm a beautiful woman instead of a 57-year-old dude with crooked teeth and gray hair and a long beard. You know, looks like a crazy wizard, you know. Let's say I'm a beautiful woman and I'm talking gently and closely into a microphone, and let's say you're a young man, you know, and I'm saying things that comfort you and makes you feel like you have a friend and less lonely in the world, you know? And I inspire you to live your dreams and clean your room because I listen to Jordan Peterson, you know? So I repeat all his stuff to you, and you think, oh, somebody gets me. And you feel all enlightened and inspired by this recording of this beautiful woman. Well, that's what porn is, you know? Because if you spend your time falling in love with somebody that's not accountable to you, that's time you should be spending maybe trying to fall in love with somebody in real life. So it's almost worse when the media offers you love or friendship. You know what I mean? So it's almost like being a good influence is worse than being a bad influence. You know, if I was sitting here saying, you should do a lot of drugs, you know, telling you to engage in dangerous behavior, I mean, that's kind of bad. But there's this, you're already programmed to go, that's bad advice. I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not going to drive 120 miles an hour down a neighborhood street with children playing on it. I'm not going to do that, you know? But if I sit here and say nice things and wonderful things and make you feel better about life, well, the inclination is to go, well, there's nothing wrong with that. What could be wrong with that? What could be wrong with listening to a beautiful song? You know? That's good. Is it though? If you start getting your beautiful moments from two-dimensional objects, like books, well, I guess that's a three-dimensional object, but the page, you know, flat screen, I guess a vibrating speaker is three-dimensional, but you know what I mean? It's like, if we're getting our love and our empathy from artists and writers and academics and intellectuals, preachers, beautiful ladies, handsome men, actors, directors. If we're getting our friendship and our inspiration from them, is that good? Or is it a disconnected psyop? I know I'm being ridiculous, but I really mean it, because your own experience will probably tell you that you just see people. I'm not trying to be an old guy here, but we used to go over to our friend's house and knock on the door. Even when we got older, like I remember in my early 20s, there was no internet. There was. It was just coming about. I remember first getting online in an AOL chat room, probably when I was 22 or 23 or something. My roommate had a big computer. He was not a trust fund kid, but his parents were really rich. And so he got a really expensive, $6,000 computer, Macintosh. His parents bought for him. But yeah, we got online and got on AOL chat. Oh, wow, interesting, cool, Chatting with a stranger. I mean, I guess it goes back further than that. My weird uncle, Harold, my dad's only brother, kind of a recluse guy, but he was into ham radio, and he had a whole room dedicated to, he's kind of like me. I've realized I've ended up more like Harold than anybody else in my family, but never got married. He never got married. I got married once for a week or for 2 weeks, but he had a ham radio, and he would talk to strangers. He'd turn a dial, and I remember going in there, and he said, look, and then we were talking to somebody maybe in Alaska or Russia or something, I can't remember, somewhere very far away, And I was thinking, Harold's friends are distant and far away. Because he was kind of a loner. You didn't see him hanging out with people. Tidy house, little small house in Canada, And now here I am, talking into a box to distant friends that I'll never meet. I don't know. You got to spin things for the good. You can't always think of everything as bad. So I try to look for the positive in it. But there's just this nagging feeling that I've been going by, for the last couple of years, people, I like to think of myself as somebody who, what you see is what you get. That I'm the same, and my opinions in real life are the same as my opinions online. There's no doubt about that. But since you don't have a live 360 stream on the internet, you're always just getting little bits and pieces. And for a long time, I realized that most of the stuff I was posting was negative, and my rationale was that I want to make Facebook worse because I want people to not be on it. I want the experience to be bad because I want people to not use it. I want to be part of the downfall of social media. Well, I didn't have any effect, let's be honest. Like delusions of grandeur, you think, oh, I'm going to make a thing and all my Facebook friends will quit Facebook and they'll go start gardens and have families and raise bunnies. I didn't really think that, but there's this, it's a directional thing, trying to influence or inspire people. Making psyops. We all have our own little psyops. Anyway, back to the guy that I just blocked, another blocker. It's really weird when people have a a little bit of connection. This is a person I'd never met in true life, just somebody I connected with on the internet. Another one of those. Never seen his face besides his profile picture, you know. But it's weird how those kinds of relationships, even that, how sometimes those can be, people take the tone of very abusive. He's a very abusive person. If you don't think the way he thinks, you're just simping for Trump. You think he's your savior. XYZ just filling in, telling me how I think about things. It's just like, it's so weird that people feel like they can project these fantasies into people. I was like, tell me more about me, please. Read my mind. Read Trump's mind. Read everybody's mind. Sending screenshots. Oh gosh, isn't that weird when we send a screenshot? This will show them. Now they'll see this little chunk of data, these little squiggly lines, this picture. This will do it. Then they'll have access to the truth. No. Mm-mm. The truth is your physical world. It's the chocolate. It's the taco. It's your mom. It's your dad. It's your best friend. It's your puppy. It's the plants. It's the breeze. I know, I'm a hippie. But everything else, all media. And even most of what you say to people is a psyop. How to avoid the psyop? Plug your ears, shut your mouth. If you don't want to psyop people, don't say anything. Wouldn't that be great? We should have a week of silence. Can you imagine if you could, there's an idea for a movie, something happens and nobody can speak for a week. The no speak week. What does the planet look like when nobody's speaking? Suddenly everybody just loses access to language. They try to type and nothing comes out. It's just gobbledygook. They try to open their mouth and it's or no sound at all, even better, just I have a feeling life would improve, if nobody could say anything. Because suddenly we'd be reconnected to the rest of language, which is, where are we? Oh, we're at the beach together. Oh, we're holding hands. Oh, we're both looking at the sunset. Oh, and look at this little sand dollar. Flip it over. Look at all those thousands of little legs. See, I can't say any of this. You can motion. You can, use your head and go, look that direction. I don't know. Language makes it a lot easier to lie. You get rid of language, and most of the psyops go away. It is much harder to lie with your eyes. You can do it. I dated a girl, boy, she lied with her eyes all the time. But I guess I knew it, and that's why I'm saying that now. But yeah, language, psyop. It'd be nice if people were nicer to each other, and not so abusive. It's not necessary. I was asking this person, I was like, what are you getting out of this? Like, what do we get out of it? I mean, there was a certain satisfaction I used to get from a good internet smackdown, when you can pick out some choice words, smack somebody down in the comments. Oh, sick burn, bro. And you get a little bounce in your step. You kind of decide that Oh, it's because I said the truth. Or I really got him, made that guy look dumb. Boy, did you ever look dumb. To an internet stranger? You made an internet stranger look dumb? Really? That's what we've come to? You know? It was a serious question. I was like, what are you getting out of this? I get that you want me to adopt your bleak view on the world. I get it. You want me to believe that Trump is the Antichrist. I don't believe that. I'm not opposed to watching and seeing what happens, but I'm not going to project that onto the future. Oh, you're a simp. You're a simp. It's going to be fun watching you totally change your narrative. Your narrative. Narrative. Oh, God, that's another word I wish would go away. The narrative. The Psy-Op, the narrative. Like, what are you getting out of it? What are we getting out of this? I'm telling you, it's not as good as a walk on the beach or planting a plant or watching a hummingbird or singing a song. It's just not. Anyway, that's enough. I don't want to be dark about this. I'm glad that there are a few people listening out there despite all the complications that I just said. You know? Anyway, thanks for listening.